Here we are at the Indiana Convention Center. As you can see, despite the weather, we've had a very good turnout for the Star City Games Open Tournament. Let's go see what the players think.
It's my first one. I mean, I'm not used to so many people, but it's fun. I came down from Big Rapids, Michigan, and hanging out with all my friends, and good time.
I actually got pretty lucky. I left Chicago area about 1 a.m. I hit this about 20 miles out. Slowed me down to like 30 miles an hour, but I got here fine.
Gives players an opportunity to actually meet new people, get out there, see what other people are running, you know. It's overall fun.
A quick rundown of what you can expect each round. Each round is going to be 50 minutes. We are going to be keeping track of that on the big clock up here by the stage.
Open Series is an independent circuit of tournaments run by StarCityGames.com. We run the events all by ourselves. We hire judges, we bring our own event staff on, set up the venue, and basically host it for players to travel to from all over the country or the world if they choose. We don't get a lot of internationals, but occasionally. And we're basically just trying to give players something to do when they're not grinding PTQs, GPs, or Pro Tours, which happens to be a fair bit of the time. So we're filling that need.
You may begin.
Only I had anything good to put into play. I think it's really good for the game. Like, a lot of people are going to it, you know, it's just like bringing more people to the game. Like, their tournaments are really big. Like, it's even bigger than a lot of PTQs.
It was snowing a little bit, but we were able to leave the blizzard behind, which was brutal. So the snow is up so high.
This is my first tournament actually, and 544 people show up, and 10 rounds of play. That's pretty good. I'm not doing too great, but I'm having a good time, so that's what matters.
This is our second season of the actual Open Series. We've run tournaments before, but as a dedicated series, this is only the second season. Last season we ran, I think, 15 tournaments, culminating in an invitational in December. This year we're running around 15, I believe, culminating in a mid-year invitational. We'll be running a similar number in the second half of the year and culminating in another invitational.
This is the whole setup, right?
It was all the setup. They got you.
Tabletop.
This is the first major event to have Mirrodin Besieged legal. It is actually just legal, I believe Friday was the official release.
There's a lot of ringers playing Kuldotha Red. I'm sure that Valakut has a large showing as well. Seems like a lot of people brought whatever they were playing last season. Like I just beat my friend Lombardo playing Vampires, which is a deck that we played at the Invitational.
Got top 16 at the Invitational, and then I just kept playing it. Blue-black, they play their Grave Titan, but they're low enough. You can just swing in with some Vamps, and they can't block because they die to the drain, and if they don't block, then they die anyway. And then Bloodghast recurring over and over is really difficult for them. Blue-white is a difficult matchup just because they play that damn ley line, and then I can't drain them with my Highborn. I can't, if I happen to keep burning, I can't burn them out. I can't redirect it to a Planeswalker. I can't use my discard stuff, so. Sometimes it's a problem, like against Kuldotha Red with the Chimeric Mass, then that's really annoying. That's how I just got beat just now. And the only other things you're worried about are like Wormcoil Engine, which killing that isn't good anyway, and then the Massacre.
In a nutshell, it's basically just blue-black Tezzeret. It's a control build, but it's pretty different from traditional blue-black style control decks. Primarily, the biggest difference is most control decks play really large land counts because they can't miss their land drops, right? This deck only plays 19 lands in it, which is very irregular. I think it's actually the lowest land count in most decks in Standard right now. The reason it can get away with that is it's running 9 pieces of artifacts, mana acceleration. It's got the 4 Chalices, 3 Sphere of the Suns, and 2 Mox Opals, along with 4 Preordains to fix the draws. So after 6 rounds so far, I haven't had mana trouble, which I'm a little surprised by, but it seems to be working out well, so take it for what it is, I guess.
It helped a lot more other decks, like it helped Blue-Black better and Cabal the Rebirth a lot more than my deck.
I just threw Go for the Throat in the main deck. I put Forkbolt in my board for Kuldotha Red because I figured a lot of people would be playing that. I was waffling between that and Ratchet Bomb because I cut all my 1-drops.
I'm running a version of Kuldotha Red. It uses Pest from the new set as like more Glorious Anthem effects to go with the Goblin Bushwhackers. And basically, you want to go turn 1 artifact called Author Rebirth, get 3 1/1s, and then turn 2 you kick a Bushwhacker. But now the deck's a lot more consistent because you have pests and other artifacts.
Well, other than the fact that he's a 4-mana planeswalker that just looks like Rob Zombie badass, I mean, look at this guy. He just looks cool. The -1, being able to make a 5/5 that sticks around permanently, is a relevant ability in almost every matchup. I'm not going to say that it's analogous to Jace's 0 Brainstorm, but it kind of has that feel. I mean, obviously the Brainstorm is significantly more powerful in most respects, but the ability to make a 5/5 off of 4 mana that requires 2 separate answers is very powerful. I mean, consider standard lines of play in control mirrors, where the Jace War is very common. If the opposing control deck tries to rush out Jace too quickly, this guy comes down immediately after and just kills him. And suddenly, you have a planeswalker that can almost match them in terms of card advantage for a Jace, but you've also got a 5/5 that puts them on a very fast clock. And obviously 5/5s are just really good against aggro decks. I mean, really, what are they going to do? Kill it with 2 lightning bolts? That's like a 3-for-1, 2-for-1, but
Definitely a great thing for the Magic community. I try and get to as many of these as I can. My goal is level 8 this year. They're a blast. I have a lot of fun. The trip usually pays for itself or better. It's been really good for me personally.
I like that it's got standard year-round. I like that it's all over the country, and it's like every other weekend almost, or even 2 weekends in a row. And so there's a lot of ones close, and this Players Club thing is pretty sweet.
Participation in our series garners points. You can earn just points for participating, and also the higher you finish, you earn more points. Certain points accrue and develop certain benefits. For instance, I believe it's at 4 points, everyone who shows up just gets free sleeves, which they can just use to keep their deck protected. The higher the levels, the more the benefits. The highest level is level 8, which is 125 points, I believe. And you get 4 of every card currently legal in the standard format, which is a relatively high value.
This one actually, like from what I've heard from other people saying, it's like one of the better events you could ever go to for Magic these days. Like a lot of people prefer to come to this in a Grand Prix or Grand Prix trial, just because the cash is so nice, and they award pro points through Star City, so you get a couple of pro points, you get like 1,000,000 advantages, so it's cool.
Obviously a very large event, but you come, you play Magic with a bunch of other people, what's not to like?
The day is coming to an end. We've seen some of the players, looked over some of the cards. That's all from us here at Indy. We'll see you next time on Inside the Deck.